Hey folks, welcome back to Link's Awakening. Here in Telltale Heights, getting ready to head off to the final area. And our final preparation actually has nothing to do with Telltale Heights. So let's head off. So there is a certain bit of information in the village that you basically need in order to get through the final area. And otherwise you will be very, very confused and lost and walking around for hours on end, most likely. So it's good to go find it. I don't know if it's the same in every playthrough, or what, but, I'll show it for the sake of showing how you show it and stuff. Just saying, I love the fire rod. Ooh, I want to set the chicken on fire. Hold on. Yes! That is so awesome. Anywho, so, hello. Anyway, you may remember this building, I never went in it. It's basically the help hut. It tells you how to use your sword and your shield and items and the menus and the map and blah blah blah. And there's actually this hidden book up here that tells you how to get into the color dungeon that I didn't know existed. But, yeah, I thought it was just some arbitrary thing you had to figure out. No, that's how it works. But what's important for us here is this one. Dark Secrets and Mysteries of Koholint. Or Koholint. Basically, it tells you the way to get through the egg. When you go through the egg. We're going through the egg. And I guess it is randomly generated, because in my test thing, it was a different, very easily recognizable pattern. But not this easy. So yeah. Right, up. In my test attempt, it was like, it was left, up, left, right, or left, up, like a temperature gauge kind of thing, you know? And, yeah, now we can head to the egg. And wake up the windfish. And then do other various cool things of that sort. So, let's head on up, and let's probably edit. Alrighty, these are the stairs to the egg, Mount Tamaranch, I believe it's called. Yep. There's all sorts of symbolism in the name Tamaranch. Tama means, like, soul or something, and it's also part of the word tamago, which means egg. And, up here is the egg of the windfish. And in order to wake the windfish, we have to play the Ballad of the Windfish. Owl, here to ruin things again. On into the egg. Very dark, pretty creepy, and that is a pit, if I've ever seen one. And here we are dropped into a maze of seemingly similar, exactly the same rooms. But the book will tell you which ways to go. And apparently it is randomly generated, so you do have to check. There's probably a finite number of different possibilities, but heck, if you're going to memorize them, you know. Up the mountain. And here we are. Now, since I need to fill time in this episode, I've decided to do kind of what I did in Pokemon XD, and fill in some time giving my overall impressions of the game, just from beginning to end. And I suppose most of my comparisons with the rest of the series, and basically how I judge the quality of this game, is based on how it compares to my ultra-favoriteest Zelda game ever, Oracle of Seasons, and to a lesser extent, Oracle of Ages, because not only are they both Zelda games, they're based on the same engine that Link's Awakening put into place. And I kind of feel that works to their benefit, because Link's Awakening put a lot of work into making this engine, which works really well, and then the Oracle games could really get creative with it. Link's Awakening, a lot of the time, the dungeons were just kind of dungeon-themed, rather than, you know, like, magnet-themed, or lava-themed, or whatever. Like, basically, the 8th dungeon of Link's Awakening is the only one that really stood out as something besides generic dungeon. And items as well, they were just kind of the standard Zelda items, and put into a 2D format, which like the past already kind of did. Whereas the Oracle games were like, hell yeah, magnetic gloves. So it's old standby, of course, for examples of how much those games are awesome. Not to say that the Fire Rod isn't awesome, but you get it so late in the game, you barely even use it, and the game kind of is held back by, oh boy, level 2 Power Bracelet, you can now lift rocks in this specific dungeon that are not encountered anywhere else. Kind of lazy design. And speaking of terrible design, basically that Conolette Castle was an exception. Most of the game was pretty intuitively designed, except for maybe the seashells, but those are meant for exploration, so whatever, I'll give them a pass. Basically, that was a horribly designed area. It's just bad. But past that, it was a very well-designed game where hints were in easy access. I never used the telephone things, but I'm sure that would have been useful. This is a very competent Zelda. It's kind of like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, sort of, in that it goes through all the motions, it's solid, it's got clever puzzles, but just feels like, oh boy, go through the 8 dungeons and beat the boss with very little charm or character to it. Which I'm sure some people with this game in their childhoods would just, you know, burn me at the stake for saying that, because they just love Marin so much, and they like the Animal Village, but the character that is developed is really off the beaten track, whereas in games like the Oracle games or Majora's Mask, it's an integral part of what little story the game has. And in that regard, I think it's a bit weaker. It's a good game. I'm not gonna say it's a bad game, because it's a good game, and I would rather play it than the original Zelda, because that's a freaking awful game. But it's not the godly kind of game that it's made out to be. It's not the best Zelda game. It's not the best 2D Zelda game. It's just a good Zelda game, and that's basically all I can think to say about it. But this is enjoyable. I'm glad I finally got a chance to play through it, and by a chance I mean an obligation. But yeah, this is fun. This is enjoyable, and it was sort of a return to what I'm comfortable with, which means I'll have to break it for my next game.